go. Heyo, so this is going to be a really quick tour of the factory as it is on November 4th, about 5 p.m. because obviously it's going to change throughout the day. This is the start of the day. So I'm going to start with the power section of the actual thing because this is the quote-unquote, I guess you could call it like the heart of the system. The brain is over there and you'll see. So over here we have a coal miner. It produces all the coal we need. There are some tier 2 conveyor belts here. Those are tier 1. I plan on changing those out very soon. But they go up into here and they actually power these 4 power plants right here, which power everything. There's wires going through all the way up, and as you can see, there is a water pipe for the all they don't run power, and it's actually being flowed all the way down. So there's actually no pump. So here we're almost up here. Main water source for this entire mission factory. And as you can see, there are 3 power plants. Even though you see smoke coming out of the top, only one of those are actually on. It's mainly used as backup power as I try to generate more and more power over there. These will probably be eventually phased out, moved, and as you can see, this is where I input the coal. So this coal, it comes over here, gets split, goes into either all these engines. I forget what they're called all of a sudden. Generators, that's what I'm looking for. Generators, and then they get, in the other half, gets split up into here. And this coal is taken over here for tier 2 production. This is a steel production act. So as you can see, here's some iron coming up from one of the places. I'll get that in a little bit. But here you can see the steel is being produced, then split, then put into the main 2 components for steel, which is steel beams and steel pipes. To prevent overflow we have these containers. Obviously, it doesn't prevent it guaranteed, but it's a nice stockpiling method that I like to use so that I always have materials on hand. As you can see, this is creating sators, which then get produced into automatic wiring, which is needed for the space elevator. And then over here you can see we have copper wiring coming in. Half of it's going over to the sator and then into the automatic wiring, and that wiring's go all the way over to there. It's kind of hard to follow, but let me just kind of give you a gist of where it's going. So it's kind of coming up, going around, going down, going over here, and then it's going down here. I'll show you that in a little bit. Just remember that the 2 that are next to each other are, one is not being used, one is the automatic wiring. And so up here, actually we should probably jump down and I should show you the very beginning of the factory. So kind of took a little bit of damage there, but that's fine. So over here we have one of 2 concrete production facilities I kind of have running. I just kind of have generators scattered about because if power ever goes, I can flip one of them and really quickly to restart the breakers and just power up the entire thing for about 3 minutes extra. This is one of 2 concrete. As you can see, we have all the iron mining going on here. It gets put out, split. Half of this first miner is being put up into steel production, and then the other half is being put into the main facility. This one's powering the other 2/3 of the main facility, and then this one is actually my bad. This middle one is being put over here, and that one's going to the main facility. This one is going for space elevator production. It comes over here, gets produced into all the iron. The iron gets pumped out, turned into plates, and then rods. Then those rods get turned into screws, and then those plates and screws get turned into reinforced iron plates. And then we come over here, you can see those plates, the initial iron that was never used, is being produced into rods over here. And then those are produced into modular frames. Modular frames, here's the steel coming down all the way from over there. As you can see it right there, that's the steel. Not a lot of steel coming out, as you can see. I plan on fixing it in the future, it's kind of the limiting factor here. But this is producing one of the things we need, which is versatile frameworks. Then if we just follow the versatile frameworks, we'll actually see the end product of everything else. You can see the automatic wiring is completely done. Smart plating is done. These are used as backup facilities, so that once we get to the next thing, it already has quite a bit of the materials. As you can see, we're just waiting on versatile framework. That is the last one I built, so it's not surprising it's going to take the longest. But theoretically, it should take the shortest amount of time to develop. This was my initial setup for creating biomass out of leaves and logs. It's a nice little facility. You just plop in, what I would do is I would just plop in the wood and leaves in these two, and then it'd get filtered through, and then all of it would get pumped into this little baby. This little baby would pump out, and that little baby would be holding up all that solid fuel. So here's all the iron coming in. The iron comes in, gets produced into various iron tier products, gets pumped up. Some of the different things it get puts up as is just straight up iron for these two, but screws over here is what it's getting pumped up to. I have extra steel plates over here in case I ever need them for something. And actually back there, as you can see, is the smart plate production, but as you can see, that is actually coming down from there, then being put through there, and then being put there. So we'll get to that in a little bit, but you can see where that smart plating is being produced at least. Up on this level, you see the two iron things getting put in. They get produced into, I forget what it was, I think this one's rods, and then screws, and this one's being produced into rods, and this is just plates. This is just the second floor, so everything's getting produced into rods and plates, or just rods and just being all pumped up to the third floor. Oh, I almost missed that. And we get up to the third floor. The third floor is the most complicated floor. Yeah, I already showed you that wing, which was the steel production, but up here, it kind of gets a little bit confusing if you don't know what's going on. But materials are coming up from the tier 2 over here. Okay. So let's see, what am I missing here? Let me get the iron plates. The iron plates go into here. And so the iron plates, the rods, the screws are all being pumped up from that tier 2 level. They're being produced into reinforced iron plates and rotors. Both of those are getting pumped out. They come over, go under, and both of those are being pushed down into that smart plating you saw down there. That's where all those are going. Now you might be wondering, hey, where are all these screws going? Good question. These screws are actually just going into here, because the issue is that we need a lot of screws for the rotors and not so many for the reinforced iron plates. So I found this to be the easiest way of doing this is just mass producing them on the first floor and then just pumping them up. That was the easiest way I could figure out doing it. Over here, I might forget what the heck I did over here really quick. So on the very first floor, if you remember, there was one iron input I did not mention. It was the farthest to the left. I mentioned the first two, but I did not mention the third. This third one comes up here. It comes over here, splits. This splitter doesn't really do anything except make it look nice. I plan on fixing up the rest of the building. Not the rest of the building. This building is fine. I mean outside. All these iron products are being pushed through into rods, and then over there it's also being pushed into screws. Then they get produced into rotors. Those rotors come over here because rotors are used in various higher tier facilities. So I just kind of have a storage of rotors over here, just for whenever I need them to build things. And we're gonna go down to the bottom floor over here. I kind of already went over all this stuff, but not go over anything past it. So as you remember, this is all the iron production building up to the versatile frameworks. Over here is the second of two concrete production facilities. As you can see, it's very simple, very elegant. You can actually do this. You can build a platform and then build a miner on top of it. It looks really nice. You can't even see the ore. Makes it look nice and sleek. I plan on doing it with all my miners, but I just haven't got around to it. Here's my recycling thing and my awesome shop. Just to, you know, anything I don't need, I just kind of slap in there, get some points, call it a day. And you might be wondering, hey, where are all these wires coming from? Well, obviously it's coming from somewhere with copper. That's an obvious thing. I kind of neglected it for a little bit because it actually is a bit of an interesting process I have going on. So we'll kind of come up here just to show you what I did here. Oh, and I cannot get up there. I all of a sudden suck at getting up this. It's a little bit tricky. So, as you can see, this is a single copper ore facility. Pumps out the copper. The copper comes down this belt, goes into this one and only smelter. That smelter then gets split into 3 different facilities. If I remember correctly, 2 of them are wires, and one of them is whatever this stuff is called, copper sheets. And here's just a bunch of extra that I have pumped out from the 2 of them. Meanwhile, the other 2 are producing in tangent for the rest of the facility. As you can see, there's a little bit of overflow, so it's kind of nice to have this running. I'm probably going to upgrade this to a tier 2. I don't know if I have materials on me. I do have enough. We're just going to do that really quick, and that should help a little bit. Obviously, I won't help with that at all. And we will touch up on the very last part of the factory, which is up here. This is by far probably the most useless part of the factory, as it's not hooked into anything at the moment, but it's most aesthetically pleasing looking since it's all nice and form. So up here we had some iron deposits, and as you can see, the miners are sitting on top of some structures, and so they're nice and flat with the ground. They go into smelt their own smelters. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and these smelters are currently just going into storage. As you can see, they kind of flatline because we're non-stop producing and not even going anything. But that is a complete tour of this nightmare hellscape I call a factory. So that is all.